Alright guys, here's what I'm seeing with Ian. I'm going to make a little demo video as well, kind of walking you guys through uh, exactly what I'm seeing, hopefully show a little better. But essentially, I think he's swinging his front leg open early. I'm going to explain a little bit more exactly what I mean, but watch through it. So his drive phase, there's never a real drive phase where he keeps the pelvis closed as he drives. He lifts the leg up, and the next move is immediately open the front foot up and begin to open the hips up. So there's never a sustained drive where the pelvis stays closed, and during that position there's a drive. So he doesn't have this position nearly as much. He also doesn't hinge as much in his back leg. So you look at the drive angle from Sonny Gray right there, where he's really in that back glute, and so it creates a more athletic torso posture as he hinges into that back glute. Ian's torso posture pretty much stays directly upright the whole time, so he never really activates or gets into that glute, which would be necessary to have that sustained drive while keeping the closed pelvis. So I think we need to find a way for him to feel the back leg really drive him aggressively towards the target using the glute, which will create a more, we'll know he's doing that better when we see a more athletic torso position like we see with Sonny Gray. Doesn't necessarily have to be bent over that much, but he shouldn't be straight on top of his pelvis. He should have a little bit more of an athletic. If he were to jump off a box and land on his back leg, you wouldn't expect him to just land in a total upright position with using the quad. You'd expect him to have a little bit of forward lean. You'd expect him to be hinging through that back hip. So posture, and then also just being able to keep the pelvis closed as he drives towards the target. Chris Archer is a good example, a good comp, because he does have a little bit more of that upright delivery, but there's still a difference. He starts with an upright posture, but as he begins to drive, notice how his posture goes from upright. He begins to get more of that forward lean as he actually gets into his glute. He goes from here to there, from here to there, here to there. Ian stays pretty upright the whole time. There's never really a loading into the glute, or you would see a little bit of that forward lean posture towards third base as he gets into the glute. So even Chris Archer, a very upright guy, still has that action right there as he sits into the glute, and as he's sitting in, he's driving the pelvis towards the target while keeping it closed. I think all in all that those things add up to being able to create a little bit better separation. I don't think forcing separation for Ian is going to necessarily fix it, but he is a little bit open at landing with his upper half. So his hips are open right at touchdown, which is right here. His shoulders have opened up, I would say 15 or 20 degrees. So not too terrible, but if we look at Sonny Gray at foot plant, his shoulders are almost directly 90 degrees from his hips. So he's very close at landing, and Ian is about one frame further. Ian's about right there at landing. So that frame is a huge difference. Difference between that and that is, another foot of range of motion over which he isn't able to apply force to the baseball because he's already opened up versus being closed and being able to keep the ball back here and create a bigger stretch through his glove side. Let's look at Archer. Same thing with Archer. Archer's shoulders are completely closed at landing versus Ian, he's right here at landing. So it's one frame difference, but in my opinion, that frame is worth several miles an hour. And then in my opinion, I think that the posture situation and then being able to keep the pelvis closed as he drives towards the target, I think that's another couple miles an hour. So this is why I've been trying to get video of his long toss so that I can see that, because if he's actually throwing 340 in a crow hop, he's got to be doing some, if not all, of these things better to throw a ball 93 from a crow hop to get it to travel 340 feet. So he might have already figured this out in some context. If he has figured it out in long toss, then it's a different approach than if he hasn't figured it out. If he's figured it out there, then it's a transfer issue. It's how can we get that feeling that he's already felt, and work that back down until we get him to feel the same thing off the mound. It's a transfer issue. If he's still doing the same thing in long toss, and maybe he's calculated it wrong and he's still around 300 feet, then it's an issue of trial and error and trying to cue him into some of these better positions and postures. So again, it's important I get that video from him, and I'm going to make a little quick demo video, just visually trying to explain this a little bit better. Hopefully that makes sense, though. Those are the three main things I'm seeing in this video.